Welcome back to our post-race coverage following the season-ending Brazilian Formula One Grand Prix. I'm Bob Varsha. Michael Schumacher has called time on his career, as the British like to say. 68 poles, 91 victories, but so much more. He is one of sport's most interesting personalities. As he heads into retirement with our best wishes, here is an appreciation of the seven-time world champion. Today, Michael Schumacher leaves Formula One after 16 seasons. He does so as its greatest champion, author of the most successful career in history, and the most conflicted. For the man who would become one of the world's richest athletes, it all began with a rented race car. A check from sports car team owner Peter Sauber put the 22-year-old Formula 3 champion in a Jordan in Belgium in 1991. 2 weeks later, in a Benetton Ford, Michael finished 5th at Monza, and the former apprentice mechanic was on his way. In 1994, he won 8 races and his first world championship. The clincher came in the season finale in Australia, when his crippled Benetton was involved in what appeared to be a deliberate collision with title rival Damon Hill's Williams. Both cars were finished, and Schumacher walked away triumphant and unrepentant. Thus began a pattern in Michael's unmatched career. There were astonishing drives, but there were also episodes of unfathomably bad judgment. None worse than 1997 in Spain, when he turned into Jacques Villeneuve to keep his rival from the title, an incident for which Schumacher was excluded from the championship and crucified in the press. The irony of Schumacher's reputation for ruthlessness lies in the fact that it was unnecessary. Even in an inferior car, such as his early years at Ferrari, it was clear that Michael was the best driver in Formula One. At the 2002 Austrian Grand Prix, teammate Rubens Barrichello was ordered to move aside so that Schumacher could win. Afterward, Michael explained that the act was necessary in the quest for the World Championship. To Michael Schumacher, nothing else mattered. In terms of sheer achievement, Michael Schumacher has no equal. He hoisted the sport's most famous team, Ferrari, from futility to respectability and then to supremacy. Along the way, he obliterated every Formula One record of note, including poles, victories, points, and championships. In his 249 career races, he led more than half, finished on the podium in nearly 2 out of 3, and won more than a third. Perhaps the greatest irony is that Michael Schumacher made it look too easy. The length of his career and the harsh realities of motorsports meant that he was denied a constant and consuming rival. He came into his prime at the end of the era of Mansell and Prost. He outlived Senna. He outlasted Hill, Villeneuve, and Hakkinen. And he leaves as the era of Alonso and Raikkonen is opening. So how will history judge him? Perhaps as the sport's greatest enigma, a ruthless competitor who gave to the needy, a selfish opportunist who never criticized his team, a driver who gathered victories by the dozens, yet who reveled in each one as joyfully as though it were his first. This much is certain about Michael Schumacher. He was that once-in-a-generation phenomenon. Love him or hate him, you could never ignore him. An athlete who reset the standards by which those who follow will be judged.
An absolutely incredible career. A few weeks ago, Jacques Villeneuve said he didn't think that Michael Schumacher would be remembered for long after he gave up his championship because he thought his championships were all flawed. There really were about 3 incidents in Michael Schumacher's career that you could say were flawed: when he got the championship from Damon Hill in Adelaide, when he also tried to take Villeneuve out in Spain, and of course his incident this year at Monte Carlo. But really, I think the thing with Damon Hill was totally overrated. I think he actually was a mistake. But the fact is that Tiger Woods, just a couple of weeks ago, was asked who he thought was the greatest sportsman in the world. Everybody thought he was going to say his friend Roger Federer. He just said, without any equivocation at all, he said, obviously, he said it's got to be Michael Schumacher. He is the greatest all-round sportsman in the world today.
Yeah, absolutely. And as far as the teams are concerned, it was the way he integrated himself within those teams. I was talking to Ross Brawn and Pat Simmons, one at Ferrari, one at Renault, both at Benetton before. They said he motivates, he inspires, he brings everybody together. Nobody, I don't think anybody in the history of the sport has done it like he has. And the final line is really for Michael Schumacher: he got the job done.